Hey everybody, I'm Joshua Orro, the Mustang Prince, and welcome to Mustang Prince Orro Reports.
Only 10 months till impact.
Hang in there, sir. You can do it.
Okay, here we go. So, for those who don't follow me, Spider-Man is one of my favorite superheroes from Marvel, and while I still have yet to see the Friendly Neighborhood animated series on Disney+, in the past, I did blog films like a few of the MCU films featuring Spider-Man, along with the second Mark Webb Spider-Man film, the first Spider-Verse film, and the first Venom spinoff. Speaking of which, today we're going to look at a film that focuses on another Spider-Man character, Madam Webb. Created in 1980 by writer Dennis O'Neil and artist John Romita Jr., Madam Webb, aka Cassandra Webb, is a paralyzed, blind, telepathic, clairvoyant, and precognitive mutant who works as a professional medium. After being stricken with a myasthenia gravis, she is connected to a life support system designed by her husband, Jonathan Webb, which includes a series of tubes shaped like a spider web, and is given several psychic abilities like telepathy, to read the minds of others, the ability to see the future, project an astral form of herself from her physical body, perform psychic surgery on the minds of others, sensing the presence of psionic powers in others in order to see the area surrounding her, and events that take place far away from her, and a gifted intellect. Now, to be quite honest, I haven't really read any comics that feature her, but I have seen her in the 1994 Spider-Man TV series and the Ultimate Spider-Man series on TV and on Disney+. And I hear there was a character who was loosely based on her in the second Spider-Verse film. But anyway, from my perspective, I think Madam Webb is an interesting and underrated character, and I think her costume, her goggles, and her abilities are very, very mind-blowing. But you may be asking, what are my thoughts on Madam Webb's spin-off movie from last year? Well, we're about to find out. Released on February 14th, Valentine's Day 2024, the movie is Madam Webb. So, on for the plot of the movie. Cassandra Webb is a bold paramedic working in New York City with her friends Ben Parker and O'Neill. After saving a driver in a car accident and falling off the bridge, Cassie starts to have the ability to see the future, and she realizes that she can use that insight in order to change it. While confronting revelations about her past, Cassie forges a relationship with 3 young women destined for powerful futures, and she makes it her goal to protect them from a mysterious adversary who wants them dead. So, what did I think of this movie? Well, in my personal opinion, after seeing it in theaters with my sister, while it was a bit campy at times, it was absolutely an intense, heart-pounding, and thrilling film. And in the end, I enjoyed it. And to further explain what I mean, let's head over to Mustang Notes. Now, this is the 4th Spider-Man spin-off film ever made. The previous ones being Venom, Let There Be Carnage, and of course, Morbius. And the latest one is Kraven the Hunter. Sony Pictures began developing a Madam Webb film for its shared universe by September 2019, with Matt Suzama and Burke Sharpless writing the script. S.J. Clarkson joined as the director in May 2020 in her feature film directorial debut after being a director on several TV shows from 2001 to 2022. Filming began in mid-July 2022 and wrapped up before the end of the year, occurring throughout Massachusetts, New York City, and Mexico, with Mauro Fiore serving as cinematographer after previously doing so for Sony and the MCU's Spider-Man No Way Home in 2021. Clarkson and Claire Parker's involvement as writers was revealed in November 2023. Johan Soderquist, a frequent collaborator of Clarkson on The Anatomy of a Scandal, composed the film's score. Leigh Folsom Boyd, who also worked on No Way Home, served as the film's editor. Visual effects were provided by Digital Domain, Bello FX, One of Us, and Outpost VFX. Unfortunately, after the film was released in theaters, it was unfairly, heavily panned by critics. It became a box office failure. And it won 3 Golden Razzie Awards for Worst Picture, Worst Actress for Dakota Johnson, and Worst Screenplay. Seriously, why does such an award like that have to exist? Now, to be quite honest, folks, I don't want to go too harsh on this movie like most folks did, since this is the first theatrical film that S.J. Clarkson has directed, and judging by her interviews on this Blu-ray, I think she has potential, and I would gladly like to see what she directs next in the future. Anyway, from my experience, while seeing the movie in theaters with my sister, I must admit, yes, like I said before, it was a bit campy at times, but mostly it felt very dark, epic, thrilling, heart-pounding, and thought-provoking. And there were times where I would clutch the arm of my seat. Also, some of the most memorable and thrilling scenes, in my opinion, are the opening prologue, the subway chase scene, the diner scene, and the ending climax at the fireworks factory. Plus, I think this movie does do a pretty decent job with character development. Not only with just Cassie, but also the 3 teenage girls. And I think the Las Arañas tribe have got to be the most interesting characters in this film due to them being a tribe of spider people from Peru. Plus, I like that they saved Cassie when her mom was murdered. And I think their chief, Santiago, makes a decent minor mentor character. Also, I like the web visuals inside Cassie's mind. And that's basically all I got for Mustang notes. So, let's move on to the cast. Our main character, Cassandra Webb, aka Cassie, aka Madam Webb, is played by Dakota Johnson, whom was in The Social Network, 21 Jump Street, and The Peanut Butter Falcon. Now, Cassie is a paramedic living in Manhattan who, after an accident, develops psychic abilities as a clairvoyant, which allows her to see future events within the spider world. And in my opinion, despite the fact that she got that Razzie for Worst Actress, I think Dakota Johnson does a pretty good job portraying this character. And I don't know if it's just me, but while watching this movie, something about her, maybe her hair, makes me think of my Aunt Karen. Anyway, back to Cassie. I find her to be a pretty sympathetic and relatable character due to her being a reluctant heroine learning how to control her new powers, and I thought it was very sad that she had to grow up without her biological mother, Constance. No thanks to a certain traitor named Ezekiel Sims. More about him later. Also to me, I like Cassie's wit, humor, abrasiveness, and compassion, and I like that she forms a sort of family with the 3 young women after not getting along through the film's events. Also to note, I think Cassie is a good paramedic, and I like the scene where Cassie watches the 1951 Christmas Carol film and where she bonds with a stray cat that visits her apartment sometimes. Next up, we come to the 3 teenage girls who would become Spider-Women. Julia Cornwall, played by Sydney Sweeney, Anya Corazon, played by Isabella Merced, and Maddie Franklin, played by Celeste O'Connor. Now, throughout this film, not long after Cassie gets her future sight abilities, these 3 girls are being hunted down by Ezekiel Sims for being future Spider-Women and attempting his future death. To me, like Cassie, all 3 of them are pretty relatable and sympathetic characters due to them each having issues with their families. For example, Julia lives with her father and stepmother following her biological mother's departure. Anya is forced to live alone after her father's deportation, and Maddie's parents are never around. Plus, out of the 3 girls, I think Anya would have to be my favorite, mostly because she's played by an actress whom was previously a Keyblade foreteller named Ava. Another set of characters to talk about are Cassie's partner, Ben Parker, played by Adam Scott, and his sister-in-law, Mary, played by Emma Roberts. Now, these 2 don't really add much to the story, but they are worth mentioning since Ben is Peter Parker's future uncle and Mary is his mother. Also, I feel like Ben sticks out more than Mary does due to him being a nice guy whenever Cassie is feeling down or lost, and I like the part where he helps keep the girls safe and hidden while Cassie's in Peru trying to find answers. Finally, we come to the film's main villain, Ezekiel Sims, played by Tahar Rahim, whom I've never heard of before and I can't find anything memorable he was ever in. Now, this guy is a former explorer who searched for a secret tribe in the Amazon rainforest in Peru alongside a research team with Cassie's mom, Constance, whom he betrays. After stealing a powerful spider from the Las Arañas, he has gained enhanced strength and health abilities, as well as clairvoyance, which allows him to see visions of his future death, making him hunt for his killers out of obsession. In my opinion, Ezekiel is not only obsessive, but he's also power-hungry, greedy, along with intense and very, very dangerous. Plus, I think his black and red spider suit makes him very scary, especially when he crawls on the ceilings, and the fact that he has the ability to inject a neurotoxin into those he touches. Also, I think he's very clever due to him using the NSA technology system in order to hunt down his enemies. Other actors in the film include Carrie Bish as Cassie's mom, Constance, Zosia Mamet as Ezekiel's assistant, Amaria, and Jose Maria Yaspic as the Las Arañas chief, Santiago. And now for my final words. Overall, Madam Web is a pretty interesting superhero film from Sony's Marvel Universe, and to me, just because it won 3 Razzies doesn't mean it's a horrible movie. I mean, sure, it's not perfect, but from my experience, it was campy at times, but mostly it was epic, mature, serious, intense, heart-pounding, and thought-provoking. Also, I think it's a decent origin story for Cassandra Webb, whom I think is a relatable heroine and an underrated Spider-Man character who tries to learn to control her powers. And I like that she tries to protect the 3 future Spider-Women. Also, I think Cassie has a couple good and loyal friends like Ben and Mary, and her enemy, Ezekiel Sims, is a dangerous and obsessive adversary. However, the one thing that I sort of nitpick with this film is the time loops. But if you folks can ignore that, I'm sure it's still a film that deserves a watch. As my rating, I'll give it a 74% out of 100. Well, that's all for... Well, computer, what's happening?
Sir, I sense an alien UFO outside our planet's atmosphere.
It's not the Harvesters or the Nerdlugs again, I hope.
No, sir. It's an alien who's known as the Invader, and my sensors say he's sending you a request to blog a recent theatrical animated sci-fi comedy.
Well, as long as he's not planning to literally blow up the Earth, then... Okay, then. As for you viewers at home, be sure to join me for my next blog, Mustang Power.